Hey y'all, it's me again. I'm just uploading my other video right now. It's called Another Part to My Theory, which basically I explain my theory and then explain a little bit of other things that are happening to me this weekend. With this video, I'm going to focus mainly on my presentation that I did Wednesday, which I talked about in my other video. Sorry if I'm going a little too fast. I'm trying to get through this video as quick as I can. It's probably going to be about 10 minutes long because that's how long my full theory is once I get to explaining it. So, without further ado, my theory. So, my theory. I can't believe I did that. Not my theory. My informational speech. Sorry about that. I just, immediately just drew a blank. But without further ado, my informational speech. Yeah, my topic was urban exploration. What is urban exploration? Urban exploration is the exploration of any man-made structure, such as abandoned buildings or ruins or even abandoned mine shafts. Parts not presently seen by this present man-made society that we live in. It's mostly the stuff that's secluded, out of reach, and no longer used. Now, you may be asking me why this is important. Well, although urban exploration is generally thought of or described as a hobby, it has far much greater significance to it, especially to our past. You see, urban exploration is basically a type of historical documentation. By going somewhere where it has a history to it, it's old, and just documenting what you see and try to figure out and research the subject and try to find more about this subject and try to fit in the missing pieces. Now, the history of urban exploration, while there is some debate, many believe that the first actual urban exploration or urban explorer was a man by the name of Philibert Aspiert. Yes, you heard me correctly. Philibert. I kid you not. And then it's Aspairt. Aspiert. I'm guessing he's French because he is known for exploring the Parisian catacombs. Now, I said there's some debate on this because technically he explored it, but he never came out until 11 years later when they discovered his body still in there. So there is some debate about that, but that was in 1793. So that's when many say was the first urban exploration. Now, you're asking me, why am I talking about this? Why is it so popular? Well, that can be answered in just a few short sentences. Mainly, it's more popular today than it ever was because of certain shows, such as Urban Explorer, Off Limits, or even movies such as Grave Encounters. Even Ghost Hunters. People look at these shows and say, "Ooh, that looks interesting. I want to try that." So they do. And they create YouTube channels. And it just becomes a bigger thing. Which, yeah, it's good. Now, as with anything, there are some expected dangers. And a lot of the expected dangers with UE, which is what urban exploration is commonly referred to, which I should have put this in the beginning. I don't know why I didn't. I actually did have it in the beginning, but I just didn't think of it till now. But another name for urban exploration is infiltration, roof and tunnel hacking, or simply UE. That was at the beginning of the speech, but for some reason I didn't add that until now, so just don't focus on that. But like I said, there are many expected dangers with UE, but I've broken them up into three main dangers. Number one, I just drew a blank, but number one is police. Number two, structural instability. And number three, generally other people such as gangs, hobos, and cults. Well, I put paranormal in there too, but we'll talk about that later. Now, the first one, police. Police generally aren't a problem if you're in an area or if you're not in an area that you shouldn't be. Basically, they'll only come if you're trespassing. So, I have two loopholes around this. Two loopholes that involve, or well, maybe three, uh, basically to avoid police. One, don't go anywhere you're not supposed to. Two, ask the owner of the property or your local police department if it's okay to go there. And three, try to avoid them at all costs. I added that third one in there just now. So, yeah. Two, structural instability. Now, this one's kind of basically, you should just know it anyways because it's an old building. It's going to be structurally unstable. But this is caused by age and neglect and the elements that it throws against the building. And the lack of maintaining care, of course, can cause walls, ceilings, floors to basically, I can't think of the word I want to say, basically wear down and go to the point where you can fall through. Now, you see this in a lot of times in abandoned mines. As I talked in my theory about the mine that I saw, but that wasn't really one that I'm talking about. But in a lot of older mines, such as mines mainly in the 20s and 30s, maybe even a little later than that, earlier too, a lot of them are basically have, sorry, I'm just looking over there, but they're made of wooden supports. And through time and the moistness in the mines causes the wood to rot and decay, which can cause an instant collapse or a slow motion collapse. A slow motion collapse is basically a collapse that happens in a long period of time. Something that happens slowly could take months, even years to fully collapse, but it's just a little break in the wood that slowly bends down and goes to the point of breaking, and then it finally breaks and goes to. Now you see why my speech was so long. And the last danger is other people. Now, this isn't a problem as long as you know the area isn't subject to this, but like gangs and drug dealers could be a base of operations, it could be a drug warehouse or a drug deal place. That generally isn't a problem, but you still need to be careful. Second, hobos. Hobos aren't really a problem either, but unless they want to be left alone, then they'll chase you out and attack you at any cost to get you out of where they're living. And three, basically cults. I'm mainly throwing out demonic cults because you watch a lot of urban exploration videos, you see that they stumble on places where there's been demonic cults, human sacrifices, stuff like that. That's as long that's not generally a problem either. But you still need to watch out for that. That's why I suggest bringing in some form of weapon with you, just in case you need to defend yourself against something like that. But generally, you won't run into that. Main thing is structural instability that you need to be aware about. Now, I know I may have turned you off with the talk about the dangers, but I'm going to list some reasons why I think most people think it's fun. The reason why I think most people think it's fun, oh yeah, my video just uploaded, but is number one, amazing discoveries. Amazing discoveries. Now, this can be anywhere from something uncommon that you don't see every day to something spectacular. Something that could change what we know about the place or what we view in history. Now, a lot of people don't really go in there for discoveries. They mainly go for it for a sense of adventure, which is the next point. Sense of adventure could be anything from wanting to experience a thrill, wanting to experience basically danger, throw yourself in danger in front of your audience. They'll go wild and you will become popular. That's right, popular. I say popular because, like I said earlier, the popularity is increasing. More and more people are doing this so they can become more popular. Now, I generally think that it's more of a thrill and wanting to get scared because, like I said, paranormal. Now, I generally don't believe that. I mean, there are some places, such as with a demonic cult, there could be something in there, such as a demon, because of their worship and sacrifice. But generally, the paranormal for me doesn't exist. And like I said in my theory, I believe it's negative energy. Nothing paranormal, just negative energy. And to get more in depth about that, watch my video so you know what I'm talking about. A video called Mind Blowing Theories, or Theory. And then another part of my theory after that, and then continue on with this one. But now for my conclusion. My conclusion is, well, before I say that, I should say I've talked about the history, the dangers, why it's popular. I explained what it is, why it's important, why most other people like it. I never explained why I like it. Which brings me to my conclusion. The conclusion is why I chose this topic. And the answer is very simple. Might sound a little cheesy, but that's where you just got to realize something. Is if you love something, you're going to talk about it. And you're going to do it. So basically, why I chose this topic is because I've always loved urban exploration ever since I was a little kid. I've always been fascinated with abandoned buildings and basically places that are haunted. I've always wanted to go there and do stuff, just record stuff, disprove most people's theories about the paranormal. It's who I am. Now, you may think that sounds cheesy or it doesn't really prove a clear answer, but the truth is, tell the truth and the answer you need. Now, you see, I classify myself as an investigator. That's why I come up with different theories to disprove things. You can somewhat say I'm a paranormal investigator, if you will. Disproving different paranormal ideas to prove if they're real or hoaxes. And that's what I find interesting about this job. That's why I started my new channel. And that's why I hope during the summer I can add more videos to my other channel. So, I know this video was a little long, so now you can see why my speech was 10 minutes that I had to condense down into 3. So, this is my speech. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and that's about it. Just Merry Christmas, have a great Christmas break, and just have a good one.